everybody, I'm Tom Vasel, and welcome to Week in Review, where we go back and take a look at all the videos we did over the past week, tell you what we think of them. Short snippets. You want to see the full review? Check the links below. So let's get started. Here we go.
Hey everybody, Zee Garcia here. So last week I did 3 reviews. I reviewed a game called Bloom. This is a roll and write, and I rate this a 4 out of 10. It felt real samey. It felt like a game I've played before. Not a lot of captivating decisions in the game. It seemed quite samey, and I also had a couple of small graphical issues with it. Just forgettable in a crowded market. Anyway, I reviewed Judge Dredd: The Cursed Earth. This is a card game based on The Lost Expedition, all from the same company, Osprey Games. I rate this a 7 out of 10. It's just as good as the original one. It's got a couple of extra little complications in there that are, thematic, and that's cool. I still like the original one better because there's an expansion for it at this point. But if you like Judge Dredd and you've never played the original one, then I definitely would recommend this. It's got a great solo mode, cooperative mode. You can play competitive too if you want to. And it puts you in that world pretty well. So I like it. For a card game to do that, that's pretty good. Lastly, I reviewed Noctiluca. I rate this also a 7 out of 10, and this is one in which you are drafting dice from the table and completing little bottled potions basically in front of you. You are collecting these critters and bottling them up anyway. And it's clever. It's got the possibility for a little bit of downtime, some analysis paralysis, and there's really very few choices in the game, but it feels interesting. It's clever. It's very straightforward and clean, and it makes me think of old Euro games where they did a decent amount of things with just a couple of mechanisms. This game does that, and I appreciate it for it. And it looks good, too. All the colorful dice look good on the table. So there you go. That's it for me. Thanks for checking this out. See you on the next one.
Hey folks, welcome back to another Week in Review. I did 4 videos for you this week. The first one was a live play of Memoir 44, Me versus the Internet. Mr. Rainer Altfors took the helm as the captain of the Internet forces, and we started a couple of campaigns that are in the equipment pack for Memoir 44 that have to do with Operation Dynamo, which is the defense of Dunkirk. I couldn't remember the name there for a second, but you can check that out. It was a rousing game, pretty not so close, but still very fun. So you check that out. Also did a top 10 Come On games or CMON games by myself, and so you can check that out as well. And there's also a first impressions video for you last week for Rise and Fall of Anvalor, which is a WizKids game that has a Warhammer Age of Sigmar theme wrapped around it. So that's pretty cool. And then I also did a first impressions of Outer Rim, and that review is going to be coming pretty soon, I think, so keep your eyes open for that. Also did a review last week for Guardian's Call, which is a game by Druid City Games, and Skybound Entertainment is another publisher of that. And so gave it an 8 out of 10. I really did enjoy it. It's just really a bluffing game per se, but it has a little bit extra to it, so you can check out the review and kind of more details about why I gave it an 8 out of 10. So that's about it from me for this Week in Review. Thanks for joining. See you guys on the flip side.
So for me, first of all, there was Skulk, a game in which you open up you shake this skull and get a little marble out from it, and then lie and tell people whether it's the color you want it to be or not. Sounded interesting, but just really came across pretty boring. I did a How We Make game reviews this week, and the game I decided to do it with was Hawaii. Now, Hawaii is a game that I don't love, but it definitely has improved for me over time. It's like a spreadsheet to some degree, but there's a lot of different interesting actions that can be taken in it. Dice Masters X-Men Forever. This was a Dice Masters set that I was okay on. I didn't think it had anything really new to the series. I just like, hey, here's some more of the X-Men you like. Dragons. This is a little game from Bruno Fedduti, a very simple game where you add cards to a pile or take the whole pile. That's it. You do it a few times over the course of the game. Most points wins. One person loses because you didn't get enough food. I like it. It's a nice filler. Oathbreaker, or Game of Thrones Oathbreaker, who will sit on the Iron Throne. That's not the point of this. Someone is on the Iron Throne, someone is the king, and everyone is trying to convince the king that you're on their side, but some of you are not. I also took a look at the Transformers TCG trading card game. Light fun, not heavy at all, just simple, put some robots down and bash each other. But sometimes that's what we need. I also take a look at the Dice Forge expansion. This one I really enjoyed. The Dice Forge is a great game, and this adds 2 distinct modules and a whole lot more variety. Great. That's exactly what I wanted. I also go look at the Dice Master packs, Dark X-Men and Uncanny X-Force. I mentioned that I was not a huge fan of the first one. I thought it was okay. These I liked a lot more, especially Uncanny X-Force. Had some really cool stuff in it. Getaway Driver. This is a great little asymmetrical 2-player game in which one person is driving around the streets and the other person is the police chasing him. Brings that theme to life in a very light, fun way. Transformers Combiners. I did the trading card game, but I also took a look at the second wave where you have robots combining into a big giant one. Really, really fun. I like it way better than the first set, actually. And then finally, Chronicles of Crime Noir. Amazing, wonderful, terrific, the best expansion. Love it. It takes you back into, noir times in Chronicles of Crime. It actually feels like a very different game in some ways, but you're still working together. Oh, I like breaking into people's houses and beating down suspects or bribing people. In the game, of course, just a lot of fun. I also open up all the Lords of Hellas Kickstarter stuff to show you what's involved in that. And like I said, we went over how we do a review last week, and we did a few other live things over the course of the week. So that's what we did this past week. Until next time, I'm Tom Vasel, and you've been watching Week in Review on the Dice Tower.